Welcome back to our channel. It is a beautiful day to dive into the absolute madness of Port Charles, and we are so thrilled you are joining us for this deep dive into the latest jaw-dropping twist. The walls of Port Charles are closing in, and a ghost from the past is holding the key to a powder keg that is about to blow everything we know to pieces, leaving a legendary hero staring down an impossible, blood-soaked choice. Anna Devane is an absolute icon. She is the moral compass, the super spy, the woman who always finds a way to do the right thing. But right now, she's a ticking time bomb, and I am so stressed out I can barely function. React first, explain later, right? Peter August is back. Okay, wait. Let me catch my breath before I send you all into it. He is not actually alive. Thank the soap opera gods, Peter is still dead and staying there. But what Wes Ramsey is playing this summer is a hallucination, and honestly, it is so much worse than if he had just miraculously. This is a cruel, sick souvenir of the time Anna spent caged beneath windows. Let's rewind for a second, because we really need to talk about the sheer psychological torture of that Windermere cell. Anna was locked in a sub-basement, breathing in chemical fog, while her captors literally piped in César Faison's voice to shred her grip on reality. She escaped that physical cell, but the cell clearly did not escape her. The trauma broke something fundamental inside her brain. When she returned to our screens on June 24, at that private clinic in France, she looked so pale, so guarded, just staring at a letter she refused to. You could see the fracture in her eyes. I remember watching that scene and thinking, oh no, she is not okay. She is not even close to being okay. And then came July 2. Anna was finally alone in the clinic vestibule, and she heard a voice that should be completely impossible. Peter August, dead since 2022, after Felicia rightfully took a tire iron to him to protect Maxie, just strolled in and smiled at her like he never left. That smile, it sent absolute chills down my spine. Remember when they tried this he's secretly alive fake out with other villains in the past? Yeah, didn't work then either, but making him a manifestation of her broken psyche? That is a masterstroke. It is brilliant, but I am dreading where this is going. Because the whispers only turned darker the moment she landed back home. On her July 8 homecoming, we got all the warm hugs and the polished stories about how her nightmare was finally over. But the second the room emptied and she was left alone with her thoughts, Peter appeared again. And he didn't just taunt her. He purred that she could finally get her revenge. The shift in Anna's expression in that moment was terrifying. She didn't fight it. She listened. Wait, I am getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the milestone 16,000th episode on July 13th. We had Jason returning to town, which was huge, but Anna's storyline quietly stole the entire episode from me. Valentin Cassadine came to her apartment for a reunion. He sat there, trying to be supportive, confirming that every horror she remembered from her captivity was real. And the whole time, this hallucination of Peter is just hovering behind him, muttering in Anna's ear, warning her not to let anyone distract her from the mission. Am I the only one who was screaming at the television during this scene? Valentin has no idea that the woman he is talking to is taking marching orders from a dead man standing right over his shoulder. Okay, back to the point. What is this mission? Co-head writers Elizabeth Corte and Chris Van Etten recently dropped a massive tease in their summer preview, and it explains everything. They said Anna returns carrying deadly intentions, and they pointed straight back to her 1985 route. If you know the history of this show, you know exactly what that means, and it is chilling. When Finola Hughes debuted in April 1985, Anna Devane was not the white hat-wearing hero we know today. She was ruthless. She fenced stolen jewels. She spied on her ex-husband Robert Scorpio as a double agent for the DVX, the brutal rival agency to the WSB. She was a survivor who played incredibly dirty. The halo came much later. And now, the writers are signaling that the halo is coming completely off. The psychological rigor of her captivity has stripped away decades of moral growth, reverting her to that cold, calculating DVX double agent who will absolutely drop a body if she feels it is necessary. I know some people are loving this dark turn, but personally, I am a wreck. I love Anna the hero, but I cannot deny that watching her operate with this terrifying, quiet menace is incredibly compelling. She hasn't killed anyone yet. Through the July 20 episode, no target has officially been named, and she hasn't harmed a soul on screen. But she is building a case, and she is doing it with a terrifying lack of empathy. Look at how she handled Jocelyn Jacks on July 15. Jocelyn is sitting in a hospital bed at General Hospital, recovering from a literal gunshot wound she got on Spoon Island. She is traumatized, and Anna just marches in and pumps her for intelligence, completely cold and focused on her own agenda. She didn't care about Jocelyn's well-being. She only cared about getting the intel she needed to get across the finish line of this secret, hallucination-driven mission. And if that wasn't enough, look at what she did to Britt Westbourne the very next day on July 16th. Britt just got out of her own absolute nightmare. She was arrested in Tortola. She found out her Huntington's disease was a complete lie, manufactured by Ross Cullum with saline syringes, and she is broke and homeless. Britt is hanging by a thread. So what does Anna do? She corners Britt in a hospital stairwell and ruthlessly interrogates her, demanding to know what Liesel Obrecht knew about that cell beneath Windermere. The tension in that stairwell was suffocating. Two shattered women, but Anna was the predator in that dynamic. She is kicking in doors and taking names, and she does not care who gets bruised in the process. So, the ultimate question that has the entire fandom in a chokehold: who is Anna going to murder? The target bracket is wide open, but if you look at the spoiler chatter and the narrative clues, every single arrow points to one man: Valentin Cassadine. Valentin tops nearly every fan prediction bracket right now, and for good reason. Peter keeps painting him as a distraction, and exes with a history this messy rarely part with a simple handshake. I mean, consider where Valentin is standing right now. He is directly in the blast rate. He is freshly pardoned, he is publicly wrapped around Carly Spencer, and he is trying to move on. On July 17, we saw him at Carly's house, clarifying his feelings and telling her that his old love for Anna belongs firmly in the past. He is crazy about Carly now. But Anna doesn't know that, and more importantly, Anna's fractured mind is being poisoned by a hallucination that views Valentin as a loose end or a threat to her survival. Reading between the lines of that 1985 callback, my gut says the writers want us tracing her old DVX ruthlessness toward a target from her spy world. She isn't going to snap and kill some innocent civilian. She is going to target someone who plays the game, someone who knows the stakes. Valentin fits that profile perfectly. The July 13th scene where Peter hovered behind Valentin wasn't just a creepy visual, it was a starting pistol. The writers were showing us exactly who is in the crosshair. Don't be surprised if the real detonation waits for... Picture this: a slow, agonizing psychological slide through August as Anna gathers her evidence and listens to Peter's whisper. Then, a devastating, violent act teased into September, leaving the entire town of Port Charles forced to choose between saving Anna's soul and stopping a murderer. Every single narrative beat that has aired so far fits this exact shape. I am so torn because, on one hand, I am team save Anna from herself. I want Felicia, or Robert, or Mac to realize how broken she is, and get her the help she desperately needs before she crosses a line she can never uncross. But on the other hand, the 1985 throwback version of Anna Devane sounds deliciously watchable. We haven't seen Finola Hughes get to play this level of dark, unhinged anti-hero in years, and she is absolutely acting the house down. Because here is the thing about General Hospital. They do not build this much menace. They do not bring back a universally despised villain as a psychological ghost, just to have a character glare at people and then go to therapy. Someone is going to get hurt before this arc resolves. The smart money says the victim is somebody the audience loves, because that is the wound that lasts. That is the drama that fuels a soap opera for years. Whether she actually pulls a trigger, stays her hand at the absolute final second, or takes the fall for a body she did not drop, Anna's iconic white hat is about to get permanently bloodstained. The legacy of Anna Devane is on the line, and I am going to be glued to my screen every single day to see how this tragedy unfolds. We are watching a hero fall, in real time, orchestrated by the ghost of the man who caused her so much pain in life. It is poetic, it is tragic, and it is the best television I have watched all year. Will Anna pull the trigger and destroy her legacy forever? Or can she silence the ghost before it is too late? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below. Hit subscribe and join us for more.